What's up everyone, it's Curtis YZ, and I'm gonna talk about 1917 analysis themes, okay? Because there's not really much to dissect, but man, is there 1,000 words, 1,000,000 words, infinite amount of words that can be said about this movie, nonetheless. And also spoiler free, just because I'm gonna be talking kind of in code. You'll know what I'm talking about if you've seen it. If you haven't seen it, it shouldn't be spoiled for you. It starts off, it's about two guys. They gotta go across German lines to tell another, division or platoon, battalion, a whole nother group that you can't go into this battle. It's a trap, right? Walking into a trap. And let me look up this guy's name real quick. So George Mackay, his name is Schofield in this movie. George Mackay is his real name. He might look a little familiar to you. I know he did for me. The guy on the main poster is also the same guy, which you might recognize this character from, that's right, Defiance. Great movie too. That's another great movie. Defiance, I love that movie. Anyways, but just hitting some of the story beats here. They go into the tunnels. I just wanted to say that visually, it's all amazing. But in particular, the tunnel scene was one of my favorite visually. It just was beautiful to me. This part here is, to me, where the action really kicks off. Like, I do consider the tunnels, all that, everything action. I don't know why people said this didn't have a lot of action. It totally had a lot of action to me, but I perceive action a little bit different. You don't have to be shooting weapons and fighting and all that. A lot of the action to me was just a build-up that it was so effective that I perceived it as action many, many times because I was so on the edge of my seat. But this part is where the real action really kicks off for me too, even because this is where it really is hammers home even harder the reality of the situation. The climbing action just really accelerates from here, in my opinion. So just wanted to point out this is one of my favorite parts of the movie just because it really feels like it accelerates. Shortly later, we see this shot of the flares being shot up in the ruins of what looks like a church or cemetery area, and it is absolutely phenomenal looking. I got this as clear as possible just so you can see it. I mean, it is, the flares going over, the shadows are shifting over. You got this something in the background that's just blaringly golden. You're not really sure what you're seeing yet. It's just absolutely stunning. Holy crap. I made a video earlier in 2019 mentioning 1917 trailers started releasing. I just had this gut feeling this was going to be one of the greatest movies ever. I said that it's going to be the next Saving Private Ryan. I was wrong. It's better than Saving Private Ryan. Take that with a grain of salt. I love Saving Private Ryan as much as the next, but this is a better movie in my opinion. Just so beautiful and just keeps you just there the whole time. Obviously, it's all shot in one take, so it's very seamless and you're very invested because you feel like you're right there with them. What happens in this scene, the way that it breaks down, just phenomenal. You feel like you're in shock with the characters. It's just crazy. Many of the themes that I picked up on were just rats. There was a lot of rats. They really wanted to hammer it in that there was rats and it were a problem and they were a nuisance and they were more than a nuisance. Then they also wanted to hammer home that there was bodies and bodies and bodies. This was a nasty war, and that was a heavy theme in this movie, is that they really wanted you to know how nasty it was. The other crazy part though is, like, after all of those really ugly scenes, most of them are still visually stunning, but then on top of that, it'll shortly, instead of doing like a comedic relief, tension relief, it has this relief of beauty, stunning visual of the landscape or whatever it is, and it just changes the whole feeling. It relieves all that tension and you just all of a sudden feel this peace, and that's what is so crazy. The ugliness brings out the beauty and everything else. That's not the point, but it really does have that effect where you get so just grossed out, but then the next shot just is so beautiful that it's like, oh wow. It's so much more effective than just using comedy to relieve tension. Amazing actors, amazing performance, amazing shots. Everything was just absolutely incredible. I thought there was a lot of action. I don't know what people were talking about, but everybody has a different view on what action is to them. And to me, this was just full of action. The whole time I was just on the edge of my seat and I couldn't take my eyes off of it. To me, that's action. If I can't stop watching because not because I'm invested, but because I'm just so intrigued, I'm so in the moment with it, there with them, drawn in, you feel involved because of the way that it's shot and filmed. Because of that, the action felt amplified. I love this movie, 10 out of 10. I mean, there's, okay, you wanna talk about flaws? There's one flaw. After the tunnel scene, there's this explosion and the characters are talking to each other as if there was not a giant explosion that just went off. And they, it just felt like they were talking too quietly, like they wouldn't even be able to hear each other. But that's besides the point. It's not like I noticed that right off the bat. I only noticed that like second viewing. But it's still, there was so many other details that also felt so real that I didn't even think about it because you're so concerned with this dust problem that happened. Some people don't want to watch something gory like this, but I'm telling you, whatever it takes for you to see this movie, I suggest do it. But if you can't watch a war movie because you don't want it, I understand that. And emotional too. The last character that we're introduced to, he's on screen for like 2 minutes and he gets you crying. He's just, oh wow, incredible performances. Just killed it. They just killed it, this movie. No pun intended, but they just nailed it, man. They really got, it's just a 10 out of 10 for me. It really can't, it's hard to get better than this. Like really, the quality, the production, the effects, the score. I gotta mention the score. Also, during this scene, oh wow, the score was so incredible. And there's also some action happening, so it's weird because it sounds so beautiful, but then there's this drama coming in through the score that just really feels like it's not just beautiful, but also dangerous. It's absolutely incredible. And yet, it still feels peaceful because that score is just absolutely incredible. It feels triumphant as well. There's this incredible triumphant moments in the score. So I gotta get the score. I'm probably gonna buy it just because it's that beautiful to me. That's it for me. I hope you enjoy this review. Spoiler-free / spoiler / analysis / it's everything. Anybody can watch this content if you're an adult. Anyways, I hope you can dig it. Take it easy, everyone.